Sir William Seo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the course of the Queen's birthday weekend, the Labour Party and the trade union movement buried a Pacific matriarch. Her name was Fili Imata Fiu. Fili Imata Fiu's husband died about 25 years ago. She had one child that was dead at the time of death. She had no other children. So at 79 years of age, this woman owned her own house. From the 70s, where she was supported through the government scheme of the day, where she was able to get support through the loan, guaranteed by government, 3%. And at 79, sir, she owned her own home, and she helped people with the little social security she got. So she spent all her life fighting for social justice and fairness for workers. She worked in the Auckland Hospital. And Fili lived her life believing in the principle of solidarity. To Fili, the principle of solidarity means that she pays her taxes so the kids down the road would be able to get an education. She pays her taxes so that our government of the day would provide health care, provide a social welfare for the protection of the vulnerable, for the unemployed, all the people that New Zealanders have traditionally paid their taxes in order to protect. That's what Fili did all her life, sir, lived the principle of solidarity, paid our taxes to ensure that people who could not afford to buy their own house would be able to rent a house and be supported through that. And so,
and she had her faith.
Absolutely, she had her faith. And I'm going to come back to the final words that Fili gave to a member of that government in her final week. So we saw the budget introduced last week where this government failed, I would say. They failed to address the key issues that face our people. Does not fix the housing problem at all. It underfunds health, it underfunds education, and though it predicts some economic growth in the years to come, it also lays out that the 5.6% unemployment, 146,000 people, will remain the same next year. For Māori, it's 12% unemployment. For Pacifica, it is 10% unemployed at the moment. And though it predicts economic growth, the economic growth, sir, would benefit those at the very top of our income ladder, rather than the bottom. And I say that, sir, because economists have said that most working people would have a reduction of their income, a reduction of their economic share by 1.3%. That means that every worker would lose $400 per year per person in the next year. That's what the budget fails to do. It fails to fix the housing problem. It fails to properly fund health and education. In fact, one of the habits of this government, sir, is that it continues to underfund the increases that come from inflation and population growth, and then they call it more funding. And over the years, Infometrics has showed us last year, Infometric research, that they underfunded health by $1.7 billion. And again, that is done with this particular budget. Infometrics research said that this government has underfunded health by $1.7 billion in 6 years. In fact, it was the professional medical specialists who released a report last year saying that the funding of this government of the health sector is based on misrepresentation. If this government really, if we are to believe what this government has said, that they're fixing everything, they're doing all they can, why is it that Te Puia Marae in Māngere has had to step forward and take on 54 families living in cars? Why is it, sir, that if things are so good under this government, why is it that even though Te Puia Marae took on 54 families living in cars so that they can provide them a decent house, decent accommodation during the winter, why is it that there are more and more people in homeless situation? City Mission in Auckland released today their report saying that homelessness in Auckland City has more than doubled in the last 3 years. We've had this government for the last 8 years. And despite what they said at the very beginning when they took office, when they promised every New Zealander of a brighter future, that is not the case today, sir. more and more people than ever before not only do not own their own home, Pacific is 16%, and the problem, sir, is...
Jackie Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.